Hey guys, today we're going to go over multiplying and dividing decimals by powers of 10. I'll show you what that means in a minute. So in our past classes, you probably remember something like this. 6,251 times 10 to the power of 3. Okay, and how we solve that is our 10 to the power of 3, our power told us how many zeros to kind of tack on behind this number. So we would rewrite 6,251 and we would tack on 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. And then we would include our commas. Okay, so that's kind of how we did it. And the reason why we were adding zeros to this is it's multiplication. In multiplication, we're expanding a number, right? So conversely, when we had a division problem, something like this, 51,000 divided by 10 to the third power. Again, our power attached to the 10 would tell us how many zeros we're going to delete from this number. So we would rewrite 51,000 and we are going to delete 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So our final answer would just be 51. So you probably remember that from a previous class. So now we're going to step it up a notch and we're going to do this with decimals. And you're going to see it's pretty easy. So let's try one right now. As an example, I'll give you a good example here. Okay. So, how we say this? 9 and 12 thousandths, okay, times 10 to the third power, okay? So instead of tacking on zeros, this has a decimal place, okay? So if I were to actually go to multiply this out, okay, it would look something like this on a calculator. Right? 1,000, 3 zeros, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay? And when I multiplied that out, and you can go ahead and do that, you're going to see what you're going to get. And then we're going to see if it matches what we do right now. So this is kind of like a shortcut. Alright, so 10 to the third power. So this is a multiplication problem, which means this number is going to grow. This number is actually going to become bigger, because when we're multiplying, we're expanding the number, right? We are making it bigger. We are growing. So in order to expand this number, instead of creating a bunch of zeros, which is not going to do anything, right? So if I wrote, just for a little example here on the top, not to confuse you, if I put 3 zeros here, would that do anything to the value of this number? It does absolutely nothing, right? The number is still the same. In fact, I can just cross them out and it's still the same, okay? Adding zeros after a decimal is totally different than adding zeros to a whole number. You want zeros on your whole numbers, right? You want more zeros in your bank account, but you don't want some zeros after your change. That doesn't do anything for you. So, how can we make this number bigger? Well, we can move the decimal. Now the question is, which direction? If I move the decimal to the left, say I put it right here, then I'm going to have all these blank spots. What would I put here? I'd probably have to put some zeros, which makes the number smaller. I don't want to make the number smaller. Why? Because I'm multiplying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the number bigger by moving it to the right. How many spaces though? 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. So I moved it 3 spaces. Now that number is 9,012. You betcha, that is much bigger than 9.012. Okay, much bigger. So that is our answer. Now if we go to multiply that out here, let's see if we get the same thing. Pull my calculator. All right. 9.012 times 1,000. Same exact thing, okay? So it's a shortcut. And again, we don't have calculators in class to do this quickly, so we would have to work this out longhand, right? Which would be a pain. So the easiest way is just to move the decimal. Now this only works if you're multiplying by powers of 10 or 100 or 1,000. It wouldn't work if you're multiplying by a 20 or a 30 or a 50. So that's very important to keep in mind, okay? So when you're multiplying by powers of 10, you're going to move your decimal to the right. Okay? Because you want the number to be bigger. If we moved it to the left, it's going to get smaller. Okay? And we don't want that, right? We're multiplying. Now, what about if we decide to divide? So let's take a look. Let's take the same number, 9.012, divided by 10 to the third. Okay, same exact number, but the only difference is now we're dividing. Okay, so when we're dividing, we're making groups, right? We're making parts. So our number's going to be smaller because we're making groups. If I move my decimal to the right, I'm going to get a big old number. That's not a group, right? So I'm going to have to move my decimal to the left. So I'm going to move it to the left. Well, how many places? Your power of 10 is going to tell you. 3 places. We're going to move it to the left. So 1, 2, 3. Boom. There's its new home. Now what do I do with these little blank spots here? I'm going to put some zeros. Okay? So our new answer is 0.009012. Is this smaller than our original number? Absolutely. It's way smaller than our original number. We achieved our goal because we divided. And when we're dividing, we're making groups, right? We're making groups of 1,000. So of course it's going to be super small. It's like divide this up 1,000 times, right? And we did. And look how minuscule it is. So when we divide by powers of 10, we move decimal to the left. Okay? Now, there doesn't have to be a power. So let me give you an example if there's no power. You could still just move that decimal. All right. So say we have 17.31 divided by 1,000. Okay? And you just want to quickly solve this, right? You don't want to have to get your calculator out. Maybe you're during a math test. You can't use your calculator. Oh man, I have to do this. This is going to take me a while. There's a quick way to do it, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to count the number of zeros. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to tell you how many times to move your decimal. We see that we're dividing here, right? So we're going to move our decimals to the left because we're going to make a smaller number. So let's rewrite our number. And we're going to move this decimal 1, 2, 3 times to the left. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3 times to the left. So there's its new home. Well, what do I do in the blank space? I'm going to pop a 0 right there. Okay? So your final answer is 0.01731. You don't even have to put the 0 point. I just did that. So 0.01731. That's it. All you do is you move the decimal. Okay? Let's try that with multiplying. Take the same number. Okay? And I have to multiply this. Oh man, this is going to take me forever, right? I have to, multiply 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. That's going to take me all day, right? Nope, it doesn't. All you're going to do is move the decimal. So you're going to count how many zeros are in 1,000. There's 1, 2, 3 zeros. Okay, that's how many times you're going to move it. You're multiplying, so you're going to move your decimal to the right to make the number bigger. And even if you accidentally move the decimal into the wrong direction, afterwards, pause for a second and look at your number. Say, did I make it bigger or did I make it smaller? Okay, that's called number sense, right? Just pause and say, did I make it bigger or did I make it smaller? Oops, I made it smaller. Time to move it the other way. All right, so let's move it 3 spots to the right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we just put a 0 there. So our answer is 17,310. And I don't have to put that decimal there, right? I don't have to put it. Every whole number has a decimal at the end, but unless there's something in the decimal place values, we don't have to write it. So I just changed 17 and 300ths, or $17.31 to 17,310. Are those different? Is this a bigger number? Absolutely. Much bigger number. Okay, so hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. If you have any questions, we can address it during our live class. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.